We've got now the D Sports Racers, very similar to the C Sports Racers.
Let's talk about D Sports Racer a little bit. This class really dominated, as it says there in the graphic, by the Store chassis, the WF1, the car that Lee Store put together. Just a beautiful race car. Essentially, it's a tube frame car, but absolutely wrapped in carbon fiber all over the place. Nice and light, very strong, powered by normally 1,000cc power plants as well. A lot of drivers on the Suzuki. Last year's champion, J.R. Osborne, not here this weekend, so that's going to open things up with a bunch of different drivers. But a lot of aerodynamic work put into these cars, as you can see. This class, back in the day, used to be a class where tinkerers would be able to build their own race car, pick a different motor, whether it be a Mazda or some two-cycle power plant, whatever it was, and go racing. This particular D-Sports class, almost rolling into almost a kind of a spec-style class right now. So many guys on the Store. Let's head back down on pit lane with John Bizignano with a little update here on DSR.
Well, that's the view that every driver is looking at as they pull their D-Sport Racers onto the pit lane and out onto the track here. And as they go around the track, the conditions could change immensely. This is a 4.3 mile circuit, which means it could be dry here on the front straightaway in pit lane, and in the twisty turny bit there could be a small river going through that. So right now everyone is on dry tires. Several of the cars are on jacks ready to change, but there's just a light sprinkle here now and a heavy wind. So even with some moisture, light sprinkle, even medium rain, with this much of a wind, you should stay on dries. These cars are light, they have a lot of aerodynamics, but it doesn't help them on a wet track on slicks.
Well, I think actually the downforce will help them here today, because a car without the downforce would be a lot harder to do on a slightly damp track. But you know, I'm going to take a shot at it because the weather guy takes a shot at it. I think we're going to be okay. I think the weather is actually past us, and I think that right for a little while here we have actually an opening. We might be able to get this race in.
If you look where we are right now, definitely a little bit clearer over top of the racetrack here. But one thing that John did mention was the fact that we're talking about 4 miles of racetrack here. It could be raining over in Canada Corner and completely sunny over in turn number 1. So that's something you never know what's going to happen here. You have one driver slowing in pit lane here right now. Not sure what's going on with that competitor, but if you get a chance to look at these cars, you'll see what I talked about with the different front ends. They'll have a different splitter. There's even one of the cars a little further back in the field with a full front wing on the front of their car as well. The wing that goes from side to side on the front. A lot of different approaches to how they're going to handle the aero here on these cars, even though so many of them are on either the Store or the West chassis.
And they have to worry too about the fact is you know, it's nice to get downforce, but they still don't have a ton of horsepower. So they have to make a car that has some downforce, but still is really good down the straightaway at a track like this. And I'm sure some guys here have never driven tracks like this with this long and straight. So they have to come here and make this. They've had a car that they've worked with, and it is just dynamite where they're at. And they come to a track like this and go, oh my, we're struggling on this straight.
Well, you can tell right now they're doing whatever they can to build some heat into the tires to get some grip, because they are all over it here, working down to turn number 5. And we will give you the update. The driver having trouble getting off the grid right now, the number 31, a Dorian Foyle. Foyle was supposed to start 5th spot right now. They're having trouble getting that car to fire up. He is on pit lane here right now. We had actually one driver spinning here on the opening lap, trying to get on the throttle, coming out of 5, and luckily not collected by another driver.
Yeah, that's embarrassing.
It is.
You know, to spin on the pace lap is
I've never done it, though.
Yeah, that's good. I haven't either. But I did have a friend of mine. We were in a Trans Am, and we were in Mid-Ohio, and he's sitting beside me, and he went back and forth, and then spun and went down the hill into the grass. And, you know, it's terrible. I was laughing so hard. And we're coming to the green, but you had to just calm down and just go on with it. But it was just kind of funny to have him do that.
You see guys go a little too hard with trying to scrub the tires, trying to build a bit of heat in there. And the cars can go around. When you've got horsepower, like you said, you have in a Trans Am, you're doing that. You just happen to be on the throttle at the wrong time, and there's no grip where the tire is. Yeah, the cars go around pretty easy.
Yeah, but, you know, the thing like a Trans Am car or a high-powered car, you could just get out there when the tires are cold, slow it down, go here and just mash it, light up the rear tires and just keep them lit for a while, get something in the back, and then start scrubbing just the front tires, because you can put the heat in the rear tires with wheel spin. These guys have a little harder time getting wheel spin to just get the tires going. And, you know, the other thing that happens is you watch F1, and you see the guys just getting those little really fast wiggles with the tires lit up in the back.
Yeah.
It isn't that easy, folks. It is something that takes a little bit of practice.
True. One of the great things about these cars, too, as well, because they're allowed to use these motorcycle power plants, the Suzuki GSX-R 1000 being one of the power plants a lot of these guys like to use. Different gearbox. We're not using one of the H-pattern gearboxes. It's a sequential gearbox, which is a lot of fun to drive. You know, when you go into a corner, you're not searching for gears. You're just pounding them down and gripping it back up, coming through the gearbox.
But you know, the hard part when you've got a really fast car with a sequential gearbox is the fact that you actually don't have time to go through the gears.
That's true.
Because the car will stop so fast in a, I mean, if you take a really good prototype car, the cars will stop so fast that it is really difficult to go through all the gears. That's why it is so good with the paddle shift, because the paddle shift will get it down a lot faster than you can with the lever.
There it is. That car you just went by there, we were getting a good pan of it. That was one of the West chassis, the WX10 West Suzuki powered engines. A little bit different look than the Stores, which really dominate this category here. The West very quick. They're going to start side by side, actually near each other on row 3 and row 4. Eric Vassian in 6th, Garrett Kletchen in 7th. And position number 7 is now that we're set to go here. I'm not sure if Foyle was able to get his way back over or not. I think can't see him still on the racetrack. Oh, he is. He's still on the hot pit lane, so trouble for Dorian Foyle. He will not start the runoffs. These 17 drivers will as we get set to go, looking for green with Dempsey and Loshak on row 1. We've got it. Green, green, green. Racing a D Sports Racer.
And now you got cold tires, you've got a wet track, you've got a lot of stuff going on here. Hopefully these guys will all get through turn 1. Up, there we go.
Here comes Farrell down the inside, looking for it, can't do it. Chris Farrell on the 58 took a bid for the lead early there, but Dempsey able to hold on. Loshak gets shuffled back. That looks like one of the West cars up there as well, too. A good start for these guys getting set to go. Dempsey out into the lead. Charles Dempsey, your leader, first time out of turn number 3, and Chris Farrell, who started 3rd, got a great jump into 2nd. He'll slide into that position as they'll work their way down to turn number 5 for the first time.
Now coming in here knowing it's a little bit slick. They're on the brakes early. Nobody's trying to make a move, so they're not really sure. Well, there's one making a move there.
A little further back, that's a spot for 6th and 7th. With a driver go down the inside to take that position. But right now, Dempsey's trying to pull away here for a number. That is Loshak, I believe, that is the number 10, though, of Kletchen. What a start for Kletchen from 7th up to 3rd in the West.
Yeah, well, how about we got Gary Crook, who went from 10th to 4th in the first lap.
What a wild start. As we said, Crook, one of those drivers looking for the super sweep. And there's the number 41 of Gary Crook right there, putting the pressure on Kletchen.
It looks like Crook's got some speed. You know, he was kind of pulling out of line at the start a little tiny bit, but he's coming up through this pack quite fast. He's going to try and pass right at the king. Tough place to pass. But he seems to have the speed, and that's the one I was talking about before that won the race here in the sprints and couldn't understand why he was back in 10th spot. But obviously that something happened in qualifying, and he's got some speed that we didn't know about.
I always say you can go through any kind of issue, especially with these motors here. You might have had a motor issue, you might have had some other issue with the car that you were just nagging and you couldn't find a way through. But right now, you said Crook looking very good. These guys very low on the right hand. You see a couple of them shooting some sparks up there.
Well, tires aren't up to pressure, and they're going to have a tough time getting them up to pressure because they set them so that when the car is full pressure, they're just at the edge of the ground because you want that low ride height. But it looks like 3rd place.
Yeah, that was a great move right there for the driver, I believe, in 5th or 6th position, the number 88
Crook's
there.
2nd.
Gary Crook up into 2nd already. He is flying. Looks like he may have made a pass for the lead already. He's got it. Crook already into the lead.
What is the deal? We thought Dempsey had this place covered, and in one lap he goes from 10th to the lead and disappearing from the rest of the guys.
Unbelievable. Gary Crook of the number 41. We expected him to work his way up into the top 10.
But didn't expect him to work away in
Not
one
that
lap,
quickly.
man.
Crook all the way to the front. Now, we've seen this happen before in one of the categories. The guy ended up losing the motor. Let's hope it's not a grenade waiting to happen, as Crook is walking away here right now with this D Sports Racer category. What an amazing start from the lead at the start of lap number 2 into turn number 1. Crook, your leader. Dempsey into 2nd. Farrell was 3rd. Eric Vassian 4th. Loshak in 5th. Kletchian in 6th spot. Crow in 7th. Tom Boots 8th, Frank Howard 9th, and John Staudacker driving his own car up into 10th spot.
Man, look at that lead. It makes you wonder what the heck happened in qualifying to have him that far back.
You talk about cold tire laps. He knows this racetrack. You said he won here at the June Sprints, and that is often, or not often, always an indication of how well guys can do in the runoffs, especially when the sprints and the runoffs are the same racetrack now. Even back in the day when we were at Mid-Ohio and Topeka, if you did well at the June Sprints, a lot of guys picked you to win the runoffs. But, man, it certainly is a tune-up this year for our first trip here to Road America for the runoffs, and Crook, who won that one, looking amazingly good right now here, the number 41.
You know, maybe the track is a little bit slick. You know, we saw the water out there, and he has the confidence that his car is going to work, or he's driven more in just a slightly slick track. But I'll tell you what, whatever's happening out there, this son of a gun is flying, because our first lap was only a 19 on guys that qualified at a 204, 205. So, you know, Crook may be just happy with the situation on the track when the other guys are a little uneasy with it. We just don't know what the story is out there. He's around there at a 209. Next guys are at 215.
Second lap, he was 6 seconds faster than Dempsey on lap number 2. Here's this battle right now. Lawrence Loshak trying to go to the inside as Farrell's taken over second. So Chris Farrell takes over second from Charles Dempsey. Loshak, I believe, up there now. Or that could be Eric Vassian, actually. That is Eric Vassian right now in the West. Has been able to work his way up into 4th position. Kletchian in 5th. Loshak 6th. Crow, Boots, Howard, and Stodacker. But to be able to go 6 seconds faster, the driver in 2nd place.
And these guys, folks, these are all good drivers.
Yeah.
This is not, oh my gosh, going down there. Got caught out just a little bit, locked up the brakes.
The number 10 of Vassian taking over 2nd spot from Farrell with a great run down the inside of both Dempsey and Farrell. Dempsey, we were able to go back up and get Farrell, who tries him.
And Farrell lost. Oh, the course looks a little slick.
Yeah, you know, we're looking out here. We actually have a pretty solid rain coming down here, folks. There is sun coming through as well, but no, we have rain here. As you can see there, even from your shot, we have rain on the racetrack, and these guys are on slick tires. All right, this could get interesting here.
Yeah, they're slowing down a lot now. They've gone way off pace. Oh, the yellow flag's out. I hope that isn't Crook that's gone away, because he was the only one that was up in front of him, or there's the yellow flag because there's something slick on the track, or what's
Farrell's going to try it on the outside of Dempsey here. Let's see who's got a power here. Here's the 48 off. That's turn 8 number there. Look at these guys slipping and sliding. That was the 48 off the racetrack. Vince Gadini off over in turn number 8 as well. These guys are all trying to hold on here. Come on, guys. Easy through the kink.
But if it is wet, the carousel is got more grip on the outside. So, you know, we watched that pass happen, but in the rain, that isn't that abnormal, because that does work.
So here we are. We are talking about a wet racetrack. The rain is definitely falling here right now. Loshak now up into 2nd spot. Farrell runs in 3rd. No, there's the one driver off in the kink. No, that is Dempsey. Charles Dempsey off in the kink, trying to get on the throttle and spun it around into the wall. He knows it. Because we have a yellow, holding yellow there as well, coming up through Billy Mitchell. Very slick racetrack right now here, folks. Here comes your leader, 41 by. Are we going to go full course?
And he's at
We are. I believe we're going to go full course here.
And he's at a 2:23 from the lap before to 2:09. That's how much difference there was.
Full course yellow.
Still 3 seconds faster than anybody else, but still he's, you know, I hadn't seen him in any photograph of the photos. And I was just wondering, man, I hope our leader didn't go off, but he's out there still going good.
There's the number 10. Oh, maybe they brought a couple of cars right up here into pit lane, actually. Yeah, they brought a couple of cars straight up into pit lane. See if we're going to go. We may be going to wet weather tires here for these drivers.
Right now, it isn't the time. If they go full course yellow, then you want to stay out right now, because it could be dry at the end of this period, because that rain, I don't know where it's going to go. If you have some intermediates, it may not be a bad idea, but it is raining pretty hard out there right now. Even
it is raining hard. Not sure what's going on here yet with Chris Farrell, because he's come into pit lane. Both Chris Farrell and Lawrence Loshak, I believe. No, Chris Farrell and 10 of Eric Vassian both into pit lane to put rain tires on. Now, this is an interesting move.
Well, it depends on if they have the pace car out, because if the pace car is out running around now, they'll have time to get this on and get back at the rear of the queue. they didn't have time to change tires on that car. I wonder what the heck they did. They jacked it up, all 4 wheels. I think they put it back down and sent him out.
Maybe they sent him right back out right now just to get back at the end of the line.
Yeah, you see, right now there is no pace car out there.
That's the 41 there of your leader, Gary Crook. No pace car with them here, but we do have full course yellow on the racetrack.
So he doesn't have to. Well, the pace car will be going out, but there's no speed limit right now. So if you come in the pits and take too long right now, you can go lap down. But if you give your crew time to get the tires out, get ready, get their equipment ready, and then have the pace car out in front of you, then you do have time maybe to get it without losing a lap.
Taking care of that driver who went off, as we said, it was Charles Dempsey, a little too wide. It still looks like he went pretty hard into the, probably right straight around there at the cake, because it looks like he's brought a lot of the grass and dirt out onto the racetrack there. Here comes your 2 drivers currently leading the way, Gary Crook and Lawrence Loshak first and second. Michael Crow now third, Tom Boots in fourth, Garrett Kletchen in fifth, Frank Howard sixth, John Staudacher in seventh, Eric Vassy in 8th, Chris Farrell 9th, and Bob Gardner in 10th. And I believe Vassy has gone to the wet tires.
And he got out of the pits before. Oh, they should let him by.
They'll wave him by, I would think. They're trying to wave him by right now. They're going to pick up our leaders as they come on the straightaway. So they're going to let Vassy by. He's going to be the tail of the grid with rain tires.
And if anybody else comes in, he will then be at the head of all those other folks. And these guys are not going in for tires. Actual fact, the rain has let up a little bit now.
You know, Vassy maybe figured he needs to, if there's an opportunity for them to be able to run out here in the wets. 4 laps in the books here right now. The 41 of Crook and Loshak coming across the line. Everybody else trying to catch back up to get into the queue here. As Elliott said, we are going to have the pace car pick them up coming out of turn number 1.
Now this is really a tough situation now of what you would go to.
You know what? We're going to see how things shake down here, folks, because we are on a full course yellow here for D Sports Racer. The rain started coming pretty aggressively. We lost a couple of drivers who went off track, one of them being the driver who was running at that point in second spot or third position. Charles Dempsey makes some pretty hard contact with the wall on the inside on the exit of the kink. So we are onto a full course yellow here right now. We've got one driver that's gone to full wets, and that is Eric Vassian, who I believe is going to come around here somewhere around the 12th or 13th position. So this could be a big move by Vassian, folks. Stay tuned. Come on back. We got more to come here. D Sports Racer, obviously a little bit of a turning point here with the wet finally arriving here to Road America. Stay tuned. More to come from the 46th annual SCCA National Championship Runoffs, live here on Speedcast TV.
Kid, where you been?
Just got back from an SCCA event.
Really?
Yeah, SCCA has more than 2,000 events every year.
Serious?
Go to SCCA.com and find people in your area that drive fast and get their hands dirty. And you don't have to be a supercar to compete.
So I go to SCCA.com, sign up, and I can start competing?
It's that easy.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Road America. Rob Howden alongside Elliott Forbes Robinson here for our second last race of the 46th annual SCCA National Championship Runoffs as our drivers work our way around here in D Sports. We got slowed up here. The rain decided to come. Our drivers actually did a pretty good job staying on the racetrack. Had a couple drivers with a little bit of issue, and one especially, Charles Dempsey, going off in the kink and actually collecting his car on the inside of the racetrack. Otherwise, they did a half-decent job before the full course yellow came out. We had one driver taking advantage of that to dive into pit lane to throw some kind of tire on it, maybe full wet, maybe just an intermediate. We're not quite sure right now. I think Elliott would expect it to be just an intermediate at this point here, but nonetheless, we are going to be 7 laps down when we go green this time by 6 to go. And we'll see what happens here in D Sports. I'll tell you, the story of the race really just changed right there.
Oh, it did, and we're going to find out what goes on. First off, Crook had a pretty substantial lead at the time they came in of about 15 seconds, I think. So they're going to have to, he has to do it all over again if he can. And now all the folks in the field have a feel for the kind of grip they have in this semi-wet track. So they're not going to be caught out by it. And I think that Gary Crook was just ready for this slightly slick track and was on the gas right from the get-go.
Drivers working their way through Canada Quarter right now.
Yep, coming up, they don't have to line up. And the other thing is that when you have a restart like this, as soon as the pace car's out of the way, they're on their own to lead them up to the start at finish line. They do not have to wait for the green to come out at this time. So I think what you'll see is, actually, I'm surprised that Crook isn't laying back just a little so that he has time for the pace car to go off. But
well, it seems to me like he's outright the fastest driver here as it is right now. Anyways, maybe he knows he's going to be able to rocket his way to the front. Surprised us, of course, folks. He qualified in the 10th position, went straight to the lead, and we are back to green here. Green, 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 racing. Again, in D Sports, 7 laps down, 6 to go. Loshak looking to try to attack on Crook.
He's not going to do it in turn 1. Crook was late on the brakes going down in there.
Same thing he did before. He was unbelievable on cold tires. Look at the gap he already has coming through turn number 1. And that was all at the end of the straightaway.
And Loshak was right tucked up under him as they got to the braking section, so it wasn't like he was way back. Some folks are a little bit careful still with this track that is less than perfect right now. It's I'm sure it's a little slick for these guys on slicks on a damp track.
Again, we're going to watch to see how well Chris Farrell and Eric Vassy can work their way back up here. Again, we told you Vassy went into pit lane and did some kind of a change on rubber, whether he went to full wets or just went to intermediates. We'll see. At this point, the track will be a little bit damp, but that is about it.
Oh, we've got a problem there, waving everybody by, yeah. Pulling over to the side. Some sort of issue there.
We'll try to get a number on that when the car comes through turn number 6. There is Stodacker in the number 12 car that he's built on his own. Looking pretty good here, running in the 7th position right now against the slew of stores.
It looks like Gary Crook is able to gap the field again.
Here we are watching these drivers work their way through. That's the 56 of Frank Howard putting some pressure on Garrett Kletchian in the number 01. And again, there's Loshak in third or second spot. Look how far Crook has already pulled out here by the end of 1 lap.
Yeah, Loshak and Crow are having a heck of a race for second place. Oh, yeah. Taking a little defensive line there, trying to get there, keep him behind. You know, when you get a lap like this, when you're trying to feel out the track and somebody's all over the backside of you, and they're going to school with you, they figure that if you can make it through, they can make it through at the same speed, so you're just following each other around. But it looks like Gary Crook has got a feel for this track, and he's just headed out. But Crow and Loshak are having a bite. And here comes Crow now, pulling out of the draft, coming up to start-finish line. Loshak moving over on him, just letting him know that, I just don't think so.
Look at this again, though. If our Crook 5 seconds faster than Crow and Loshak on that opening lap, cold tire lap. That's just
unbelievable.
I'm amazed. Good move there for Crow as he takes the spot away. Good run there. Remember, Michael Crow started back in 9th position, so this has worked for him. He's up into 2nd. Although Loshak, who started P2, he's ready for the fight for sure for 2nd spot. Tucks right back in under the rear wing of Crow and then moves to the right immediately at the Sargento Bridge.
And he's heading by already. It seems an awful early pass, but if he can make it from there, that'd be good. But it seems to me you don't get the benefit of the draft and pulling out with speed. Oh, they look like they touched there.
Crow's going to have the inside of that corner to be able to take it, the number 88, and work his way through. So Crow holds on to the spot. Loshak into 3rd position. Chris Farrell all the way back up to 8th already. Although Vassian into 11th, you got to expect that if he is on the softer wet weather compound, that he's going to be chewing those things up pretty quickly here on this racetrack. The rain has definitely stopped here. Yeah, it was a gamble for sure. It looked like the rain was coming, and it may rain for a while. They take a shot at it and came up craps on that one.
Yeah, and you've got less than 5 laps left, so there's not a lot of time left for that rain to come in to help him out. So he's just going to have to hope it happens. It looks like Loshak is dropping back from Crow at the moment. Crow seems to be more hooked up. It's just amazing how a guy can qualify back 8th, 9th, 10th in those areas. And when the green flag goes, they got a car that works. Now, I don't know if it's just because his car works better on this slightly slick track. But, they're able to make the car work from those other positions. And you'd think by looking at qualifying, they're going to be here, but they don't have a chance. But it's wrong.
Well, you said straight up, he won the June sprints very quick in that race as well. And to be able to turn the wick up here right now on his essentially 4th day on the racetrack this week, as they had those 3 days, looking very good here for Gary Crook.
Yeah, and Crow, who qualified just one position ahead of Crook, he's up to second.
He was 2:11 both days. He's already turned in times about that here, where nobody else is even close to the times he took in qualifying. Here comes Garrett Kletchian in the other West, currently running in the 4th position. Expecting a battle here pretty soon between Sam Suval and Chris Farrell. Farrell actually already by him, so Chris Farrell now up to 7th position. You got to think that's probably about as far as he's going to go. He's about 8 seconds behind Stodacher, and Stodacher in the number 12 running exactly the same time at 2:16.
Yeah, and Bassian is...
Here's Stodacher here in the 12.
Yeah, and Bassian isn't making any time with those tires. Matter of fact, he's losing spots as he goes along, so that isn't working.
I would not be surprised to see Eric
There he is
Bassian
right
pull
now.
into pit lane, and there he is. You know what? We rolled the dice. We tried to go with some wet weather tires. Rain stopped. You know what? He gave it a shot. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
Had the rain came, he would have been a genius.
Oh, yeah. And it was raining, and it looked like it was going to keep on raining, but it stopped. So we'll see what happens now for the next... we've only got about 4 laps left, 3.5 laps left.
That's Kletchian right there in the 0-1 running in the 4th position right now. So it seems to me like a lot of the drivers up front are going to hold the spots where they are. This is the battle we're watching though right now. Gary Crook already out to a 10-second lead, which is 4 laps remaining. But Michael Crook and Lawrence Loshak embroiled in a pretty solid battle for the silver medal here right now.
Yeah, Michael Crow is, after he got by him, seems to have been able to just hold the lead. I thought he was going to pull away for the bit there, but it looks like Loshak has come right back after him and is closing the gap back up again, because there was about a second between them as they came back start-finish line last time, and I don't think there's that anymore.
Again, we said earlier, these 2 drivers who qualified right near the tail of the top 10, actually both drivers starting on row number 5, Michael Crow and Gary Crook, now find themselves in 2nd and 1st respectively. So Crook well out to the lead here right now, turning amazing laps. A 2:07 right now. Like here we are at a track that is obviously a little bit green. We've got a little wet. A 2:07.9 for Gary Crook. 4 seconds faster than he did in qualifying. So obviously something, they were dealing with some kind of major issue in qualifying that did not allow them to show exactly what their true speed was.
Boy, isn't that the truth? It's just amazing. I don't know what their issue was, because they had 2 qualifying sessions and he wasn't fast in either one of them. And now to be turning these kind of times when the other... Well, let's take Loshak, for instance. Loshak qualified at a 6.0 and is now turning 12th.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? The one thing, too, I wasn't sure if Chris Farrell was going to be able to work his way back up here, but he just turned a 2:12 to Stodacher's 2:16, so almost 4 seconds quicker. He has gapped that down to 5 seconds right now with still 3 laps remaining. We may see Chris Farrell working his way up into the top 5 before this one's all over.
It sure looks like it by the times he's turning.
Look how dark it is over the south part of the racetrack. Man.
Yeah, well, these guys may make this, but, you know, it's getting close enough now that there's only, 2.5 laps left, that they might be able to get this in, and we'll have the next race in the rain.
Here's a good little race here further back as well. I believe that's Jim Vogel, Sam Suval, Matthew Cutter, and Bob Gardner all running together here right now in 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th. Vogel, Suval, Cutter, and Gardner just having a great battle out there.
They are coming into 5. The cars are moving around, but you know, I think the track is actually pretty dry right now. Well, actually, I hope it is. If a guy's turning a 2:07 out there, that it's dry.
There's Cutter out front there, I believe, now in the Prince.
Yeah. Oh, losing another spot.
It's the number 4 of Bob Gardner trying to cut his way back to the front here as he'll go. That's 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th, so I think that might now be Cutter up into 8th spot. Their leader coming by again here, 2:07 flat that time by with 2 to go. 2:07 flat. That would have put him 2nd on the grid. Wow. Actually, no, a little farther back, 4th on the grid, pardon me. 4th on the grid.
And the track's supposed to be slippery.
The track is supposed to be a little slick out there right now, having gotten a bit of rain. Chris Farrell continues to try to work his way back. He'll be fighting with Stodacher soon. He's definitely closing up on John Stodacher in the number 12. Farrell now back by less than a second here, so I expect him to work his way into 6th position here momentarily. But this fight right back here now is just excellent to watch. Looks to be like Matthew Cutter's put the Prince up into 8th position. That'll be the 4 of Bob Gardner now into 9th, and whether or not it's Jim Vogel or Sam Suval running in 11th or 10th and 11th. Just a good little battle with these guys back here inside the top 10. Vogel now into 8th. Cutter in 9th, Gardner 10th, Suval in 11th, and Richard Colberg will cap off the top 12 there, the number 97. 12 drivers remain on the racetrack here right now. Bob Gardner going to work trying to reel in Matthew Cutter in the number 24. The car right in front of him here, the red car, the Prince, right in front of him.
They seem to have separated themselves from the big race they were having just a moment ago, but they're close enough. You can never tell when something's going to happen. And shoot, we can still get rain at the backside of the track by the looks of it before this gets over, and they're going to have to be careful of that. And I hope that you almost need a spotter out there to just tell you it's happening. Vogel going around turn 5. The guys who are using the track, they aren't using the ripple strips or anything. And Loshak here, right behind Crow, has still chased him down, hasn't lost anything to him. Last time the lap times were within a tenth of each other, and they're not far apart. So
Loshak's doing whatever he can. He's really pushing hard, trying to get back up to Michael Crow here, but they're all going to get the last lap board. One more lap to go here. It looks like everybody's kind of battening down the hatches. The darkness is starting to roll back in here again. There's no more sunshine here at Road America, as we may get some more weather coming in here for E-Production.
Yeah, without sunshine this time. But hopefully these guys can get the rest of this lap in without any rain or anything happening to them. The leader coming down into turn 5, looking good. Doesn't look like the track is a problem. A little bit onto the ripple strips coming off up into 6.
I just can't believe how well Gary Crook has run here. He is an absolutely amazing. If he wins this, a good possibility he could take the super sweep here.
Well, I'll tell you, he deserves whatever he gets after seeing what he did on the first start and the restart. He's done a fantastic job driving, and in the conditions we've had, we didn't know what the conditions were when the race started, that it was getting slick, and it didn't seem to bother Gary Crow at all. Crook was just been fast from the start, just driving it off into turn 1 when everybody else was slowing down and being careful.
Yeah, the kind of laps he's turning even right now, even though his competition weren't able to turn the laps they are now with heated tires. They heated on the opening lap. Coming back going after the yellow flag. He's just been so fast.
Yeah, because right now he's slowed down to only 3 seconds faster than the next guy.
Only 3 seconds, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, he's taking it easy.
But, it just, I can't believe how well his car's working and how well he's driving it. And, when you get in these kind of conditions, boy, that's a guy who has car control.
Well, you know what? He's controlled it all the way from start to finish. Checker flag going to be in the hands of our starter for our national champion this year in DSR, Gary Crook, to take the national title. Great run there for Crook as he brings it in.
Boy, and he's an excited kid in the car. You could just see those arms flailing around there. Yeah, it was great. It looks like Crow's going to come in second. He's pulled it out on Loshak this last lap, so he's heading for start-finish line for a great second-place finish.
Here it comes. Michael Crow, second place in the number 88. Lawrence Loshak, third in the 02, so it's a store 1, 2, 3. Garrett Kletchin in the West, WX10. We'll bring it around here momentarily. Chris Farrell worked his way up into 5th spot. Don't believe he was able to close up. Oh, right there. Farrell was right off of the rear wing of Kletchin. Maybe 0.2 of a second at the line. And here's this battle again, folks, here for, I believe that's 9th spot. It's Bob Gardner and Matt Cutter we're watching going at it here. Cutter still holding back Gardner. Gardner, though, trying to go deep on the brakes. No. It's the Prince of Matt Cutter, who started 17th. Raced his way up to 9th right now. Great drive for Cutter. Gardner doing everything here on the final lap to try to stick it in there. Not going to happen.
Oh, no.
Oh, he's going to lose a spot possibly to Let's see it coming up the hill here.
He looks like he's going to lose it.
Vogel. And then Cutter, then Frank, that was Sam Suval. Suval able to get by Gardner as well as he got caught up. What a good try for Suval to get the run up there. So it was Staudacher in 6th, Vogel in 7th, Cutter in 8th, Suval in 9th, and Gardner in 10th spot. It's getting dark here right now at Road America with just one more race to go here. One more main event set to go. And Gary Crook working his way around here. You know you've done a good job when you're on your cool down lap and guys have just finished the race.
Yeah. And you're pulling in the pits. Hey, listen, the guys he beat by that amount of distance, you're talking about on a minute and 40-second over some pretty good cars.
That's right. But he'll come down here right now. Gary Crook. He is your winner, your national champion in D Sports Racer. Kind of took EFR and I off guard. We weren't quite ready to see a guy come from 10th like that. And if you're looking at his qualifying times, it didn't seem like he had that in him. Obviously, he had a bunch of issues, and I'm sure we're going to hear once John Bizignano has a chance to chat with Gary Crook about exactly what may have happened throughout the week and why it is he was able to find so much time here.
Well, you know, after we saw this thing where he won the June sprints ahead of Dempsey and Staudacher, you just go, well, maybe he does have something there, but it didn't make any sense with the qualifying time.
Well, this is it. Looking back, some guys that made some good runs. So we said Matthew Cutter coming all the way from 17th up into the 9th position here right now. Who else made some moves? Well, you know, Chris Farrell able to come back. Interesting call for them. They actually obviously thought it was going to rain as well when they came in there. I think they were going to try to change, but then right in the middle of the change, they decided, you know, it might not be right. Let's go back out. But of course, Vassia went for it, did the whole deal, and that definitely wasn't the right move for him. He ended up pulling in with about 4 to go. Lap 9, Vassia actually called it quits. The rubber probably burned down already by then.
And look at that last lap by Farrell. It was 7 seconds faster than Yeah, 7 seconds faster.
He did 2:10.
Yeah.
99. Farrell was flying on that final lap. You're right. He was 7 seconds faster than Garrett Kletchy in there. A pretty unbelievable run there for Farrell to work his way back up the 5th spot. But folks, here we go. We watched a great race, so let's kick it down to Mr. Bizignano as he's down with our national champion, Gary Crook.
Gary Crook, I can only say one thing about that drive. It was fearless confidence on that wet track, those opening laps. First of all, let's get your medal on, Bonnie. Get in there. Congratulations on that gold. Tell us about when the track was damp and you were 6 seconds a lap faster than anyone else coming from a 10th qualifying position into first place.
Well, I was sticking pretty good, but then I started to feel it starting to slide, but the car was controllable. So I just kind of backed off a little bit and kept on it. And on the straights, you just nail it. So.
But where do you get that confidence? Everyone else was so genteel with their cars. They didn't know what was going to happen. The pole sitter spun and hit something pretty hard, and you were just as aggressive as could be.
Well, our crew chief, Chris Young from Young Racing, he just did a great job on setting the car up. It really behaved like it did in the dry and the wet.
Setting the car up here, you're looking for straight line speed, top end, but your wing is very flat for that. But in the corners, it was unbelievable. It was just stuck like glue.
Yeah, the Hoosier tires, the R35s we ran were great. They were fantastic. They're one of our sponsors. I appreciate Hoosier supplying tires to us. They deserve this victory.
A super sweep for you, I believe.
I forgot about that, yeah.
Okay. Now he's smiling. You were so calm for being out there on that wet track and going faster than anyone. No one could touch you. Congratulations on a great championship.
Thank you very much. Thanks to everybody who's still around.
Great race nonetheless there. I'll tell you, to watch those guys, with Gary Crook out front, obviously blowing everybody away, but Crow and Loshak there, they both were talking. They both looked like they were pretty happy because that was a pretty good battle back and forth. They fought it pretty hard.
Yeah, and that's great. You remember that actually more than you do the running out front by yourself. And these guys had a great race against each other. And, you know, it was not an easy situation today with the conditions with the light wet track, the low grip, not knowing what you're going to get when you get to the corner, because on this long track, you can't have the confidence to get to that kink and just take it flat and think, well, it's going to be dry, because you don't know if it's really going to be dry when you get there, because the track can change on different parts like you talked about before.
But Gary Crook, as we said, the number 41, your top driver in this category, he was absolutely flying. Wins by 24 seconds over Michael Crow in the number 88, who in turn had to really battle heavily with Lawrence Loshak to be able to grab that spot. So Crow ends up in second, Loshak with the bronze third. Fourth was Garrett Kleckner in the West in the 0-1. Chris Farrell able to work his way back up into fifth. John Stodacker in the number 12 up to sixth. Jim Bogle into seventh. Matthew Cutter in the Prince up to eighth. Sam Suval ninth in the number 15. Bob Gardner, Frank Howard, and Richard Coburn.
Kid, where you been?
Just got back from an SCCA event.
Really?
Yeah, SCCA has more than 2,000 events every year.
Serious?
Go to SCCA.com and find people in your area that drive fast and get their hands dirty. And you don't have to be a supercar to compete.
So I go to SCCA.com, sign up, and I can start competing?
It's that easy.